Hi, Midlife Goddess here. Okay, so I put out a video on whether it's better, easier, more desirable to be a professional, i.e. a call girl, i.e. a hooker, or a trophy wife. And if you watch the video, I think you could pretty much see what I think. Not having any experience of my own in either, but observing people who do have experience in these things. So I've been talking to women and men about this video, and I've been getting some feedback. Okay. Do you know any guys who are in their 50s and getting divorced? If you do, you know that these guys are like, they're not the happiest guys, right? They tend to feel like they're being taken to the cleaners. They're very upset. They spent all this money on this woman and she didn't give them what they felt was in the bargain. She did not keep her end of the bargain. And especially if she cheated on them, but usually they cheated on her too. So it's like when they say she's a cheater, but then you find out they cheated too, you're like, okay, so you both cheated, but you were working, so it was okay, but she wasn't working, so it wasn't okay. I don't know. Cheating is its own thing, right? And a lot of people have found a workaround on cheating, if you haven't noticed. Cheating now, people just call it polyamory, and they call it ethical non-monogamy. So I guess the ethical monogamy that I'm looking for, and I think a lot of people are looking for, I don't know. I mean, I didn't ever put the word ethical and non-monogamy necessarily together in my head, but that's actually a thing now. People are talking about it. So they're not cheaters anymore. They're telling the person they're with, they're like, okay, we're gonna be married, but I'm gonna sleep with other people still. And I might fall in love with them, one of them, you never know, because in polyamory, I am gonna love all these people. I'm not just gonna casually have sex with them. That is a whole other topic, isn't it? But how do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about polyamory, ethical non-monogamy? Is it a real relationship if you're still doing everything you'd be doing if you were dating, except that you have your home base of a relationship? I mean, what do you think? Anyhow, in response to my video of trophy wife versus hooker, which is more exciting of a job, because they're both jobs, right? They're both really jobs. They're both, you're singing for your supper. You're pleasing someone to make sure that they continue to keep you in your lifestyle, except one has a very defined parameter of, you're gonna please me for an hour, or you're gonna please me for a day, or you're gonna please me for 3 days, or you're gonna please me once a month on Saturdays, So all the women I have spoken with would agree. Now, these are also women who are my friends, but they include people who are both happily married and happily married for a long time, but they didn't marry for money, but they're happily married and have been married for, forever, and not cheaters. They're totally committed and happy marriages. And then there's people who are single, and then there are people who are dating, and even amongst these people who are dating, there are people who are pretty young and really looking for a husband and would almost be willing to settle just to get married and have kids. And they keep trying to talk themselves into, maybe I should settle because I do want kids. My talk is clicking. I think that's called dyslexia. My clock is ticking. Their clock is ticking. So they can't have a baby just forever, They have to have a baby I think it gets hard after 39, even though Cameron Diaz just had a baby at 51, and clearly some people's genetics are very lucky, or unlucky, depending on whether they want kids, but they can have kids forever. And so, but some of the younger girls I know, they're considering almost the trophy wife scenario, because they're like, I need to maybe settle because I need to get in a relationship because I need to have a kid, and I need a guy who can support the kid. maybe I don't have to be that attracted to him. Maybe I don't have to be over the moon about him. Maybe I need to give guys I'm not attracted to a chance. And something I keep hearing is, oh, you know, Indian people in arranged marriages have higher success rates. They stay together, they report greater levels of satisfaction in their relationships. So that is an interesting observation. And is it true? I don't know. It's hard to say, because it has to do with what are your expectations of a relationship. And maybe people who are put together, who find each other, you know, attractive enough, and they're put together by their parents or people who really know them, into a relationship, maybe it is going to work okay. In my family, if there was such a thing as an arranged marriage, I would have been, see, I'm doing this, I'm choking myself thinking of that thought. I would have been married to like the first real boyfriend I had. And if not him, if I didn't want him, it would have been the second or the third or the fourth, because they were all, according to especially my mom, good enough for me. And in my mind, I was like, none of them in my mind really excited me enough for me to want to make a lifelong commitment to them. Because I don't believe in divorce. I know that's kind of I know people do it all the time, and maybe if I were married miserably, I might believe in divorce, but I prefer to just avoid marrying anyone unless I was 1000% sure that I respected them, loved them, and felt that passion and chemistry, which I have felt for people before, so I know what it feels like. It feels really exciting. Without that really exciting, I don't know that there's enough glue to make it work. So, guys who are going through divorce in their 50s, I mean, they're losing half their money, which they feel they did all the work. They don't necessarily give the wife any credit for raising their kids. Even though to me that sounds like a serious job, especially if she's doing it well. And then they also have this feeling of failure, it seems. They really take it hard, harder than women. I've observed a lot of women going through divorce, and I've even observed a lot of women who like got cheated on, and then they took the guy back because they didn't have enough money to divorce him, and they just decided to forgive him rather than divorcing him. It kept their social status. So then they at some point sort of became a trophy wife, even though they might not have gone into it with that. Interesting. But you know, they basically gave the signal to that guy that they're not leaving and he can kind of do whatever they want. It's kind of like boundaries, right? It's like when a woman's with a guy, the minute he starts being verbally abusive, if she doesn't leave him then, and then he has to do the work to change and then win her back, if she doesn't do it then, it's never going to happen. And he's never going to really respect her the same way he would have if she did it, because she didn't set up the boundaries in the beginning. Maybe you can set up boundaries later in life, but I don't think it's as easy, because rules have already been established. So, guys going through divorce, they say the trophy wife has it better. They think the trophy wife has it better. Trophy wife has it better than the hooker, who gets to leave when she wants, has a, you know, pre-established amount of proceeds are going to her based on her doing her job. They think the trophy wife has it great, okay? Now, I say that they do not know how miserable a woman can be with a guy who she chose for the money. They just don't understand the amount of disdain and disgust and repulsion a woman can feel for a guy that she chose just for his money. It's a lot. It's a lot. I know these things. I've been told these things. I've been told, oh gosh, I mean, I've been told so many stories. So many, but I'll tell you one. Okay, so this woman gets married to this guy, and she's very attractive, right? And She's been married before. She's trying to get married again because she wants kids. So this guy, nowhere near, I mean, when I say nowhere near as attractive as her, I mean nowhere near, right? But he has a good job, and he's, you know, he seems like on paper she can stay home, she can have kids, and her parents, I think, are actually kind of pushing her in this direction, right? So not the most loving thing, in my opinion. A lot of parents do that. They push these women towards guys who will take care of them, even if the guy is like an old creep and their daughter's like really young, and it's pretty much an icky situation. They'll still do it. It's so gross, right? So gross. Anyway, this is not a gross situation. These people were age appropriate. He was only maybe like 8 or 10 years older than her, which is, in my book, nothing to speak of. But, you know, I knew she wasn't attracted to him. I knew she wasn't attracted to him at all. But she went and got married to him and really rushed him to marry her. He may not have married her, but she rushed him to it. And guess what? On her honeymoon, she finds out that he has gotten some other woman in her fertility group pregnant, and now is going to have a kid with this other woman, or is going to have, and he's going to have to spend, you know, thanks to his salary, like maybe like $4,000 a month he's going to have to spend on this other kid until they're 18, and really longer, because then he's going to have to put them through college, then he's going to have to this, then he's going to have to that. I mean, I will say, seemed like a nice enough person where he's not going to leave the kid to fend for themselves. He's going to take care of that kid. So she marries him for money, right? Not attracted to him. Thinks he has plenty of money where she's going to have, you know, a nanny and this and that and the other, and she's going to be living this nice lifestyle. Well, now he's got an expense that she finds out about, not just his cheating on her, she finds out at her honeymoon, but that he has a kid with someone else that's going to cost him and take quite a chunk of her money. Her money is now going to this other woman. This other woman who doesn't have to marry him, who doesn't have to live with him, who had his child and is going to reap the rewards of that without even having to be with him. Now, who got the better deal there? Who got the better deal there? Pretty obvious to me who got the better deal there, right? For the record, all of these deals are crap deals. I would say that the best and happiest people in the world are the people who make their own way in the world, who have their own money, who are with somebody who also has made their way in the world, and people who are equally together. They're both successful. They're on a similar attractiveness level. Doesn't mean you're exactly the same, but you know, a 7 and a 9, you know, a 6 and a 4, a 5 and a 7, you know, they're in the range of each other. It's not like a toad and a princess. It's not like that, right? So when there's just sort of a match that happens, financially, in social standing, they're in the same level, and then physically they're in the same level, and then charisma, they both have good personalities, they're in the same level, then there's an equality. And inequity is a real problem in relationships, and you might think that you can just buy someone. I mean, look at 90 Day Fiance. All the time, those people are on that show, and these poor saps, these poor guys, oh boy. And the poor girls too. Girls and guys, both of them. These poor people who are on the show. Watch 90 Day Fiance if you want to see a train wreck. They meet someone from this poor country, right? And they're like, oh, I'm going to love this person like it's a pet, like it's a dog they're rescuing. That's how they act. I'm going to love them so much. I'm going to love this person so much that they're going to love me back. And they're buying they're getting them over to, you know, this country. They're buying their whole family, like the last one I saw, the girl is from, I think it was from Ecuador or something, right? So she's from a town that's just filled with dirt. There's no roads, it's just dirt roads, right? Dirt and shacks, and The floors in the houses are dirt. And she's with this guy, and he's from the Midwest somewhere, and he's not bad looking, right? And so as far as looks, I would say they're in the same range. And she is telling this guy, like, we need to go to the store. You need to buy all these things for me. And he's buying her all these expensive, like, white tennis shoes and white sandals. And I'm like, all the roads are dirt in this entire town. Every place that she goes is dirt. So I don't know where she's going to wear these white things, because they're going to be dirty in about a minute. I mean, she needs, like, you know, galoshes, or she needs something that's tied up and rubber soles and can stand some abuse, really, for these roads. But she's with this guy, and he just thinks she's so sweet, and she's insulting. He lives in this place with, you know, it's got, you know, green mountains, blah, 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 and his family, they're like, I don't know, like the super nice Mormon people, you know. And she's like, I would never be your religion, right in front of his parents. I would never be your religion. I don't agree with it. And then she's like, I don't like it here. It's very boring. I like where I'm from. She's insulting where he's from. She's not nice to him, and she's getting every dime she can out of him. And he wants to marry her. And you can tell she doesn't even really care for him. It's weird. Anyway, that's inequity in a relationship, and that's how it goes. And people have sometimes this romanticized idea that they're going to be so nice to the person that the person's going to change, and it's not going to happen. And that person who is living a completely different lifestyle than you, do you want to train them and, you know, here's where you put your napkin, and here's, you know, take the menu, and do you want to train them, or do you want to just be with somebody who's already at the same sort of, who has the same interests as you and is in the same sort of lifestyle as you already are? And then maybe if you both want to move forward together, then you move forward together, right? But you're simpatico, not, you know, oh, that homeless guy over there is pretty hot. I'm going to pick him up and I'm going to teach him how to behave in public. I mean, come on. Although one of my friends, wise woman, she's like, one of her girlfriends, who's a doctor, went to, I think it was Jamaica, and she met, it's like how Stella got her groove back story. She met this hot, sexy guy there, a little younger than her, and they fell in love. And she brought him back, and she said she seems happy, and he seems happy. And so maybe sometimes it works, maybe sometimes it works. But she's like, but the guy still opens cans, and he just eats out of the can. He doesn't heat the food up or anything. It's like, well, that's probably like what he's used to, right? Like, he doesn't see the point of the other stuff because, you know, just different. Anyway, at the end of the day, when I'm talking about hookers or trophy wives having it good, they both have it bad. Maybe the woman who I just mentioned earlier in the story, who trapped the guy and got pregnant by him, which seems to be a tactic that a lot of women will use, who just has his child now and doesn't have to be married to him, doesn't really have to see him, and still gets part of his money until that kid is 18. She probably is the winner there. But the real winner is the person who is self-actualized, who has done their own work in life, has figured out what they want. And if you're in your midlife, you should be there, right? You should definitely have had time to think about who you are, and you should have had time to learn, and you should be learning every day. And you know who you are, you know what you want, and don't misconstrue it and think that I'm saying to be either a trophy wife or a gold digger or a hooker, unless I do. I respect sex workers more than I respect trophy wives. I'm just going to say it just like that, because I feel like they're more honest. That's why. But it's not a politically correct opinion, maybe, but it's just, can't help it. It's how I feel. But the best way is to work on yourself and find someone who's on your level and working on themselves, and be happy with somebody you're compatible with. Be happy with someone where there's an equal balance of energy, of excitement, of interests, and you can really build something together, because it's like when there's two people who are growing, the things that you can do together are so much more exciting and extreme than just one person alone. It's like energy squared. So that's the real goal, right? That's the real goal. But if you had to be a hooker or a trophy wife or a baby trap, you tell me, what would you be? What would you be? And if you're a guy, do you know any guys who are getting divorced? And have you noticed the unending anger and rage that seems to come out of them for so long? Or sometimes just they just seem very sad. And I don't know what the solution is for them, because I don't really know how to help somebody who's going through that. I don't know what like the right thing to say is. Like, I love to say the right thing and make somebody feel better, and I love to give somebody some inspiration. That's my love language, is unsolicited help. Which is why I have this channel, because this channel is a way that if you're not interested, you could just turn it off. And if you are interested, then you might actually appreciate what I'm saying, you know, and you can tell that it's coming from a place of love, because I want to help. I want to share what I know, and I want to help. Anyway, how do you help a guy who's going through that? Is there any way to help him? I mean, I can tell you what's not helping these guys. Sleeping with woman after woman after woman after woman, none of whom they really care about. They just seem more and more lost. It's like their energy is already low, and then they're sharing their energy with just random people over and over to try to make themselves feel a little better. I guess kind of like a drug. Kind of like, you know, like when people think that alcohol or drugs will make them feel better, and, you know, maybe immediately yes, but then right after that, no. It's maybe they're doing that with sex. I don't know. I don't know how to help them. I wish I did, because it's hard watching it. It's really hard seeing it. And the women I know who go through divorces, they seem like they get their cute little place that's just their stuff that they've always dreamed of, and they decorate it, and they lose 10 or 20 or 30 pounds, and they get some hair extensions, and they move on. They move on. And they don't seem to dying to jump back into a relationship either. Like the men seem like they're dying to jump back into a relationship with someone else somewhat. It's just what I've noticed. And the women seem like they had enough PTSD from the last one, where they're like, they become focused on themselves. And it seems like they're in a really good place after the divorce. The ones I know, at least. They seem really happy and focused, and like they're exploring the world, especially when they were like the mom and putting up with this guy's stuff for all these years because they needed his income. And so, you know, they were miserable with this guy. They didn't want to be there for a long time. So when they're free, they're happy to be free. Anyway, I would love to hear any of your opinions on how do you help men who are going through the divorce and they're going through that really awful stage. And which would you, if you had to pick one, would you like to be the trophy wife, the hooker, or the baby trap? We'll add a third one, the baby trap. And have you been in a relationship that was true love, where you were equals? Did you ever meet your equal? And are you with your equal? I was hanging out with someone last night, and she's been married for a long time, and she's with her equal, and they're equally everything, you know, equally smart, equally attractive, equally charismatic. And that's why they're still married after all these years. And it's not going to ever change, because they're well matched. They're well matched. And, you know, that's lucky, and it's a blessing. And I still think that it's better to be alone than it is to settle. I really, really, really feel that way, because I also believe that when lightning strikes and you fall in love, if you're married to someone else or like seriously dating someone else, it's going to be a problem. even if you stay with that other person who you're not as into, you've now met someone who you knew you would have been, you would have been a better match with, and that's gotta suck. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, it means a lot to me. Please subscribe, it means even more, because I'm just starting this channel. And I'm not sure, should I put my travel videos on this channel or not? Let me know what you think. And please comment and share. Thank you so much. Mwah. Never settle. Never settle. Okay, bye.